Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This video is another one in my unofficial England series, where I got to visit some of the most photogenic places in the north of England. I was lucky enough to visit my friend Anthony, and he was just an amazing host. He's also a great photographer and videographer, so as always his channel will be linked down below in the description. As you probably guessed from the title, in this video I was trying out the Cinestill 400D. It will also be a slightly different video because, as you might know, I mainly do street photography, and the places that we visited were much more rural, so much less people and many more cows. But I'm always down for a challenge, and it was wonderful to step outside of the hustle and bustle of a city and get some fresh air. Saying that the places we visited were beautiful is an understatement, and I'm really happy that I get to bring you guys along and share some of that beauty. Anthony also allowed me to accomplish my lifelong dream of meeting a llama. This made my day, but the llama was much less impressed, and she let me know it. Anyway, I will be showing you the pictures as always throughout the video to show you a little bit of what you can expect with this film stock. So Cinestill 400D is a 35mm color negative film stock, but it also comes in 120, and rumor has it that it's also going to be released in larger formats. The stock was announced by Cinestill in 2022, and it was funded by a Kickstarter campaign, raising a whopping $830,000 from 11,000 backers. So this really goes to show how much support Cinestill has from its consumers. The company's press release states, Cinestill 400D is a fine-grained film that delivers a soft color palette with natural saturated color and rich warm skin tones. The film has a wide dynamic range with a base sensitivity of ISO 400, but can be rated from 200 to 800. It can be pushed all the way up to 3200. This makes the film highly versatile, suitable for any lighting condition, any event, and can be used either outdoors or in the studio. Personally, I was mistakenly under the impression that the D in Cinestill 400D stands for daylight balanced, as it does in Cinestill 50D, for example. This film, in fact, is daylight balanced, however the D stands for dynamic. So this already hints to what the main property of this film is going to be: the wide dynamic range. I made a video a couple weeks ago about the unaltered motion picture film from Silver Salts, where I go a little more into depth about the remjet layer. But in a nutshell, the remjet layer is present on motion picture films like the Kodak Vision 3, and it prevents halations. However, you have to use the ECN2 motion picture film processing to develop this film. Cinestill films don't have this remjet layer, which allows for standard C41 processing. Now, the other color films from Cinestill, like the 800T and the 50D, are films received from Kodak with the Remjet layer, and Cinestill take care of removing it. But as opposed to these, the 400D is different because it is produced without having this layer at all. Cinestill explained that it is their own original emulsion made for still photography. Yes, based on motion picture film, but it comes without the Remjet layer from the start. So they say that it isn't respooled motion picture film, but a brand new formula. This film's colors are definitely reminiscent of the Kodak Vision 3, and many, myself included, actually assumed that it is what this roll is actually made of, especially since it is common knowledge that Cinestill and Kodak have a long-standing cooperation. However, I don't recommend that you ask Cinestill if the 400D is a respooled motion picture film. So while I was shooting this film, I noticed that the palette is indeed very vibrant. You might find a slightly warmer cast on sunnier days, but without it being too unnatural or overbearing, and reportedly a cooler wash on cloudier days with less light. Overall, the colors were super gorgeous. I also found this film particularly easy to edit in post-processing. I was able to really bump up the saturation or exposure without the photos looking unnatural or over-processed. Keep in mind that due to the absence of the Remjet layer, this roll will produce halations. You can see those red halos or red glow around light sources, but also around white colors and also your overexposed highlights, as well as on reflective surfaces, like the windows over here, for example. Personally, that is a little downside for me. I actually enjoy the halations around artificial lights on the Cinestill 800T. It really depends on the look you're going for, but I could have really done without them on my highlights. Again, really depends on you. I have seen some photographers take really beautiful pictures with these halations incorporated. On the other hand, the film has a process surviving anti-static coating. This should really preserve it from any damage that it could encounter within your camera or during the development process. It should also prevent those red intrusions or light leaks on your photos, which for sure have snuck into my first couple of frames, but I didn't find any further along on the film roll. Even though I did encounter some problems with mixed light, especially during the time we stopped in Manchester, I would really just attribute it to my in-camera settings. Because the dynamic range of this film is supposed to be really great, and to be fair, it has been wonderful in the rest of my photos. The film is supposed to be very forgiving, even in difficult lighting. The film's ISO is 400, and I shot it at box speed. But as stated in the press release, it has a very wide exposure latitude, so you can really underexpose it or overexpose it and experiment with it as much as you want. In hindsight, that is probably what I should have done in Manchester to avoid my lighting trouble. The ISO of 400 makes this film very versatile, as opposed to the Cinestill 50D, which will naturally be much trickier to shoot. I particularly love this film for portraits, because the colors were really natural and pleasant. These photos are practically unedited. The grain in this film is very fine, also slightly reminiscent of the Kodak Vision 3, and you will definitely get this very characteristic cinematic look as opposed to the more classical look from, for example, the Portra 400. All in all, I really enjoyed this film and will likely be purchasing it again. Although for natural lighting, I might be leaning more towards the unaltered Cinefilm with the Remjet layer because I don't really know how to incorporate the halations too well. Also, the price of Cinestill is quite high, especially compared to the different unaltered Cinefilms that are produced nowadays. Sure, the reason is that you can develop it using the standard processing. However, the price difference was pretty significant. In my personal opinion, though, I would still encourage you to try it out at least once. You might really enjoy the look yourself. Now that's it for this video. It wasn't my typical street photography content, but it was really cool to be able to switch it up a little. The north of England has some beautiful places and lovely nature, and I will definitely be coming back to these shots over and over. Let me know if you have tried the 400D, if you've enjoyed it or if it wasn't your cup of tea. And don't hesitate to sub to the channel if you enjoy the content. That way you're going to be alerted for my next videos, and it also really helps the channel. For some reason over the past few weeks I found myself shooting a ton of 400 ISO films, and I'm excited to tell you all about them in my next couple of videos. In the meantime, have a great day, take some beautiful pictures, and don't get spat on by a llama.